right, YouTube, we're here live for the NoSo Post Show. Richie, in the description, I usually go immediately following the PLE, but we are 8 hours almost after the PLE. We're joined by Brandon Janeau and Richie Mars. Richie, let me throw the floor to Brandon and ask how he's doing, because his Saints are going to take an L tomorrow. So I just want to make sure that, he got his flowers first. My boy's going to be down bad tomorrow, so I just want to give it to him while his spirits are up. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, tomorrow's not gonna be able to be a good day, but even tonight, Cubs need to get this, shit together. But yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I just put a little salt in the wound with the Brewers too. I didn't know you were a Cubs guy.
Yeah,
Richie, you are not a baseball guy, even though you have Yankee paraphernalia behind you. But overall, Richie, how you doing, my man?
Doing well. I don't have the stress of the World Series on my back, so I feel pretty good. And yeah, that's why I don't really watch sports all that often. Just watch wrestling, and again, I don't get stressed watching wrestling too. Everybody else does. I don't know why.
You want to talk about fucking stress? We're going to talk about stress real quick, and that stress is in high school football. You want to drive 2.5 hours from Massachusetts, central Massachusetts, all the way down to lower part of Connecticut and lose by 4 points. It's all right, buddy. That's all right. That's all right. So here's my day. Wake up at 8 a.m. Well, it was 7:30, right? Give myself the time. Set up for Perth, watch it. All my prep for the game was done. I watched at home up to the John Cena match. I left after the John Cena match. I flew to the school, listened to Rhea Ripley match in my earbud, and didn't really catch any of that. I'm gonna have to rely on you guys for that one. And after that, I was able to get on the bus by, I would say, a little bit into the Seth and Cody match, and I watched the majority of that. So I was able to watch probably 85% of the event. Richie, you're at 100, and Brandon, you're at 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's kick it. Let's start it off with a bang. Roman Reigns, I think it legit is in his contract. I open or I close because I don't know when the guy's been in the middle. Maybe at a Rumble, but if they were the Rumble match, but I don't think so. I'm just pulling that out of the weeds.
But yeah, that Brock contract, you know what I mean?
Heyman definitely made that contract out in his favor. So yeah, if he ain't first, he's last, right? So he was first up here first. And tonight he faced Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight, 20 minutes even. Bronson Reed was the second man to pin Roman Reigns in a long time. I know Corbin pinned him in 19, then Cody Rhodes pinned him at WrestleMania. And this is in a singles match, mind you. And I think Jey Uso pinned him at Money in the Bank 2022, I think, to set up that year's program as well.
And Solo got him in last year's Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he got Cena. Did he get crowned? Oh, he got him in the 6-man. So a handful of guys have pinned Roman Reigns, but not in a singles match. Richie, I'm going to throw this to you. Was this the definition of a singles match, or with the rules, it obviously counts? Obviously it counts because it's on the marquee, Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns. But, this doesn't really hurt Roman Reigns whatsoever, but it gives Bronson Reed a mighty boost, in my opinion.
Yeah, what happened here was Roman Reigns, like a lot of things gravitate towards him, whether it's story or just guys that are around him. And Bronson winning here and not at Paris, it makes sense why, they did the angle how they did, and Roman went over there, but Bronson gets here in the specialty match in front of his home country. So hindsight being 2020, I think the victory here did more for him. I think the pathway to get there could have been easier, because it was just pretty much like last week, Bronson was the only one to send you in the hospital or whatever, or on a stretcher. And they were kind of building up. I thought it was okay, it's going to be like a stretcher match. And then it's like an Australian street fight. I'm like, all right. So it's pretty much going to be like a good old fashioned Donnybrook, but with Australian themed weapons, which were pretty fun and creative. With Roman Reigns matches, they start off, pretty standard, and then they kind of build up. And the result with Bronson, they put the tsunami over big, and they put it even more on a pedestal, because now you have Roman Reigns that lost to it. So that puts Bronson at a different level, where I think a lot of people are going to be looking at him differently because of this victory here, even though there was interference, but it still put Bronson over in a big way.
Yeah, Brandon, to me, honestly, before we kind of dive into the match a little bit, if you want to, I still was shocked that Roman Reigns lost. I figured if anyone in this Vision group were to beat Roman Reigns, it was going to be Bronson Reed, or not Bronson, it would be Braun Breaker. But I was pleasantly surprised, and it does feel that Bronson Reed kind of fit the part in there with Roman Reigns on, back-to-back PLEs for Roman Reigns. He's facing Bronson Reed, so it felt that at the end of this pinfall, he fit the bill, right? So. What did you think of the match? Of course, there was chicanery too, with the Usos coming out after Braun Breaker came out and gave Roman a hellacious spear, and then, of course, with the finish, saw the super kick on Roman Reigns, which led to through the table, which led to a tsunami or two for the pinfall win, and then the post match too. We'll get into after that. But overall, what did you think of the match, Brandon?
I thought it was good. I thought it was a good opener. I think that we needed that for Roman to lose. I think the problem with nowadays is that if you're going to be a part-timer, at some point you got to lose too, because these dudes are on here consistently getting into matches and you're not there. So even when you beat them in like a Clash of Paris, we kind of need you to take an L at some point, like to help these guys get over. I like the fact that Roman did lose. I even love the fact that Jey Uso is the reason for why he lost, technically. Like Jey is the reason for why he actually lost. I think that's a great situation. It does something for that bloodline storyline that it desperately needs. Like it starts something with Jey and Jimmy and Roman now. So I think that's a good way. Now I don't know how they're gonna do war games to get them all in there together. I mean, but I thought this was a great match. I thought it was a good situation. What I think this also did was something that they haven't been able to do, which I think we've been talking about for a long time, right? Which is Braun is the future, then what the hell is Bronson? If Braun Breaker is the future, then what is Bronson? And I think that was the biggest.
Man. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what they needed to do. They needed to give Bronson something. They needed to give him something because the momentum that he's had since he's joined the Vision is just the dude that's just the muscle. He's just there to tsunami people, put people out, and that's just the end of it. And I think that was what this match really did more so for him, which is what he did to Seth Rollins to get on the map, which was the 6 tsunamis. I think they needed something like that. Him beating Roman Reigns is a massive goddamn look. And that actually helps him moving forward, like you guys been saying. It helps him tremendously because they needed that.
Yeah. On the Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker thing, I honestly, personally think at the end of the day, Braun Breaker is great in this role, but I think it could be a little bit miscast, so to speak. When this whole Vision is at the end of it, I could see him kind of lining up as a babyface because he definitely had momentum as a babyface last year and was doing well as a babyface or that tweener or whatever he was doing. So I could see him kind of breaking through that ceiling as a babyface when that time comes. I'm in no rush for that whatsoever. I think they're both doing great in the role. Part of the match here too, I found the story more intriguing than the match. The match is your standard run-of-the-mill match. I like both guys in it, but you're going to get your chaos. You're going to get your run-ins. You're going to get your tables, your barricades, your kendos. So the tables, that's run-of-the-mill. I think a lot of the other more matches had a lot of like creativity and inspiration. So maybe this one was a little bit vanilla by purpose, really, because and especially being so story heavy, they didn't really need to go out there and have all the bell and whistles. So overall, I'd be like 3.25, 3.5. I thought it was good to very good, the match, and I was more intrigued of the story coming out of it with the Usos and where it kind of, and then what it does for Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Not that they have dissension, but like how they kind of they change a little bit. Like Batista kind of jumped Orton in a way, right? Is there any prospect of that? Just for an example as well too. So that's kind of a little bit intriguing to me. But maybe now it's like, hey, Bronson Reed is seeing more of the now prospect, where Breaker is more of the vision for the long term in a way too, right? So I think there's a lot of things that they can do, and how does that play into Seth? And then I'm not going to miss this, but I think it'd be interesting to bring up now, halfway through the PLE. They're in the back. Heyman comes up to the two. Great win, Bronson Reed. Mind you, Seth is going to go out there alone without us. And it's kind of on him to prove what he wants to be for a leader in a way too. And they were a little skeptical of that, but they were like, yeah, it's on Seth. We're not going to have his back. And, we're going to watch from the back. We're going to root him on. And hopefully he proves to us his vision is clear. Right. So we'll get into that much later. But since these guys are involved, anything on that playing into it? And Richie, overall, where are you at with this story coming out too?
I really do like the story beat. Like on WWE Raw, they were building up Jay and the Roman dynamic, which I think was necessary because a lot of people accuse Jay of just being the yeet guy, the entrance guy, and not really having more depth to him. But now, ever since he lost the world title, we're seeing that pressure and those consequences of him being a former world champion, which a lot of people don't really get. Like, once you lose a title, there are very few stories that are told where it's like what happens after the fact. This year was about Jay climbing for that world championship. He got it, then he lost it. And now we're seeing that shift of all right, now I've been a former world champion. How do I get back onto the mountain? Because once you get that taste of gold, everyone becomes like Gollum when they don't have it. You know what I mean? So it makes everybody become a little bit desperate. So with Jay and Roman talking to Jay as former world champions, but Jimmy is the brother, you have that natural conflict there. Now, when it comes to the bronze, I do like the idea that, Bronson beat Roman, Seth beat Roman. Braun Breaker is the only one that hasn't beat Roman. So imagine if there's a solo match later down the line, Seth Rollins, who's drunk on power, keeps poking the bear that is Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
and then you eventually have that kind of dissension, whether it's teased or a full blown breakup or kick out. But with the post match angle, I thought that was well done. It shows Roman's growth as a character, saying that he wants to prove that he could still win on his own, even though he won the last PLE on his own. He still didn't walk out on his own 2 feet. This was a match of somebody else's type, and he wants to prove that he still is, that competitor that doesn't need help. But like Usos, even though they even the odds, they cost them the match in the end anyway, because they didn't follow the plan, they didn't follow the play, and then Jay getting upset because Roman's just walking out on him. And Jay's just kind of lashing out because, again, he always feels like that little brother syndrome. And I noticed this during the Usos kind of running. Like Jay has a lot of personality, but Jimmy is a lot crisper when it comes to in-ring work. And I think a lot of people kind of sleep on that a little bit. And I really hope this is a breakout story for Jimmy, because I feel like he can carry the ball, so to speak, when it comes to a story onto his own and kind of be that glue kind of factor, like how Jay was to the Bloodline story. So I'm just interested to see where everything goes, and if we see Roman either on Raw or next week or in the coming weeks, and see how that's going to progress and what his direction is. Because is he still going to go after the vision, or is it just going to be the Usos are desperate in need of help and then they finally call Roman?
Yeah. So, Brandon, do you feel that we kind of have Roman stepping away? Say he is. I like this better than a stretcher job, right? He's like, Jimmy, Jay, I love you guys. I love you guys, but you just cost me this match, pretty much what it was. And y'all need to figure this out. And that was the through line too, with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. It's like Jimmy's kind of holding back Jay just from brotherly love. I don't want you to get that power because, I've seen what it did to Roman and I don't want to go through that. We're in a good spot. We're older in life and, let's just kind of do our thing. And then Jay is like, well, I was at the top, man. That shit, I was at the top. Dinner tasted better when you're at top. My kids ate better. My wife dressed better, shit like that. We made more money. And I'm going to be, I might use this family to get me back up there. Right. And Roman's kind of giving me advice on what to do and where to do. Right. So, and then it's in the back of his mind, he's like, do I trust Roman though? Is he fucking with me so he can get that top prize too? Right. So there's a lot of mind games being played, but ultimately I feel like they're on the right page. But what do you think coming out of this with the Usos and Roman in the old bloodline, and where do you think they lie? I think obviously they're together some way, somehow in November for War Games, but I think that Roman perhaps is going to go on a little mini break right now. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What's your vibe on all that?
Yeah, I think personally, I think Jimmy's going to get taken out, which is going to force Roman to come back to be in War Games. I think somehow Jimmy's going to get taken out. I don't know how. Maybe the vision. Maybe they bring in Brock Lesnar, and that's how he ends up getting taken out. I don't know how that happens, but that's how I think Roman comes back for War Games. I think he comes back to avenge, Jimmy being taken out. And then that's maybe how you get the War Games match. Maybe for the baby faces, that's how you get Roman, Jay, Punk. I'm still trying to figure out the other two guys. They saying Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. I can see that, but it's just like at the same time I can't see it. Like I can't see it, but I can see it. But yeah, I think Roman's gonna take a break. I mean, that's kind of what he does. He comes in, does his little, Roman 2 weeks, and then he dips again for like 3 weeks, and then he comes back and does it all over again. It's the fucking cycle of Roman Reigns. What can we say? But yeah, I think the dynamic of that ending was very interesting to see Roman be like, yo, I don't need y'all. You pretty much just told him, like, I don't need y'all. I kind of need to do this on my own right now. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays into War Games, because I know Jay is definitely going to be like, well, you don't need me. That's what you said. Like so I don't know how that dynamic is going to work for the vision. I don't know about Brian. I'm just not a big Brian fan. I'm not. I can't get into it. I don't know what it is. Breaker? I can't get into Braun Breaker. I can't do it. Okay. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I can't do it.
I know what it is, Brandon. I know what it is. You're like the Saints. You ain't got enough dog in you. That's what it
is. It's not that at all. It's just the fact. I just can't get into it. Like I don't know. I think he just tries to play too many characters. He doesn't know what the fuck he really is.
I think he's figuring it out. He's pretty one-dimensional, but I think he's good at what he's good at charisma-wise. His charisma is what is charisma now. His charisma is aggressive, right?
I think
when he tries to be like vulnerable or a different type of charisma, it doesn't feel natural yet.
Yeah, I think it's a long game. It goes back to what we talked about at Clash of Paris, right? Like I kind of predicted like it was gonna be two visions, which is like Seth and Becky, and then Brian, Bronson, and Paul. That's pretty much what it's been on TV. So, I mean, that's kind of what it is, I think. But it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they're going to now react after the wins, because I have no idea how the vision is going to look after the wins.
Yeah. All right, we do have a comment here as we get off this match. It says, I understand why Triple H says he doesn't see color. The second pay-per-view without no black talent. First WrestlePalooza, now Crown Jewel. That was Kevin Abreu. I get it. I think Sean's just kind of Sean's got them all right now. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a time. It's like I get it. Like, Naomi was getting pushed, but she got pregnant. It's just who's ready in that spot right now. I don't really, I wouldn't know whose time it is. Maybe I would love to see, like, or whatever it is organically, just push whoever's he pushes, right? Like, get whoever it's timing wise, right? So I don't know. I could see the gripe, but I don't really see it. I don't know.
I could see like if they because they just transitioned Mello into that Miz feud after the breakup. Like, I think they could heat him up. Probably have a match by, I think the next thing is Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, that feels like a Saturday night's main event. Yeah.
And just like put Mello over on a good show. And and Miz is a wonderful person to work with when it comes to elevating people to the next level. And I feel like Mello, I'm not going to say hit the jackpot, because obviously if you're in the jackpot, you're in the main event. But Miz, it's nothing to sneeze at when you have a 20-plus year veteran who is known to elevate every story he's been in and be very selfless in that.
And then perhaps maybe Montez Ford or Angela Dawkins is on the ascend to break out, as well as they lost the Wyatts in 6 minutes last night. And then you have Ricky Starks, Trick Williams, Oba Femi, almost again now. Almost is in NXT. So you got all those guys in NXT on their way up too as well. So I don't.
Yeah, I mean, those comments kind of just. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, who could be in those shoes? Yeah. Like, who could be in those shoes? Jade is not ready. Bianca's not there. Like, who could be in those shoes? Like, I get what they're saying. It's just like, If you put
Naomi
somebody,
should have been in those shoes. She would still be in those shoes, but she was pregnant.
yeah, and it's exactly what it is. It just feels like it's just like I think that when people have comments like that, it's just like I think you're taking it from a perspective of like you want to see more black talent, which is 100% true. I want to see them too, but again, it's about story, bro. It's not about race.
Yeah,
They
the
don't
time and
fit right now. They don't fit the stories. Like Carmelo Hayes just got into the goddamn story with the Miz, like literally 2 weeks ago. He wasn't even on
that's when
SmackDown
they
this week.
accelerated the tag team to break. Yeah.
It's like, and then they had to kind of like switch the Street Profits breakup because they had to break up that tag team. So it's like what do you want? Like what do you want? They was just on Friday Night SmackDown last night. You can't always have everybody on every damn PLE that is black. Like that's just ridiculous. Like you can't always do that. I get it. I get the argument, but at the same time, it's like they don't fit the story right now, man.
Yeah, and then even add in Javon Evans too, he might be on the acceleration extend up if keeps coming up on SmackDown too. So I think in the pipeline they have plenty of black wrestlers that they would like to push. It's just kind of all about timing, really, right? So
it's about timing and story. Like a lot of people just don't have the story right now.
Yeah. So all right, but I think this time Crown Jewel, Oba Femi will be up. Javon Evans perhaps will be up, right? So I think Trick will probably be up. Mello will be in a better spot. So we'll see. All right, Stephanie Vaquer, the Raw Women's World Champion, defeating Tiffany Stratton, the SmackDown WWE Women's Champion, in pinfall in 10 minutes and 5 seconds to win the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Run-of-the-mill, worst match of the night, but it wasn't a bad match. It was a standard baseline match, which felt a little safe. I don't know why. The care is excellent, and perhaps they wanted to kind of maybe save a little bit, or maybe not want to put a lot of light onto Tiffany, like was she's going to lose. I don't save some of the chamber. Richie, how would you take this? I found this match to be like sudden. Like I was 75% paying attention in a way, and I was like, oh, it's over. And then I looked at the timestamp. I was like, 10 minutes. That's interesting. What's the reason behind that 10-minute decision, Richie, to start with you?
This really reminded me of last year's Crown Jewel match with Cody and Gunther, where it's like they're saving their best stuff for a match down the line, where it's like they didn't want the Crown Jewel championship to like overshadow a potential match that they could have later in the future, because Cody and Gunther do have an interesting story. Cody was the one who eliminated Gunther twice in the Rumble, defeating him in Crown Jewel, but it was safe in a way where it's like you kind of knew what was coming. They didn't really get into that next gear, and if they did, it was only to gear 2, which was like just when we're starting to cook. Then it's like, oh, okay, we're already over. Okay. This match was mostly about Stephanie and showcasing Stephanie, because WWE hasn't really had a lot of time with Stephanie on the roster. I believe she had an infection, or she was sick for a couple weeks where she couldn't be on TV. So I remember
my bad on the affection. I gave that to her, guys.
Oh, of course you did. Yeah. So what happened with that? It's like now you're kind of fast forwarding. Like she already beat Io. She already beat a couple of different people. I think the only match she lost was the Money in the Bank match. And again,
she lost Shotzi too, but that was on NXT. NXT.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things on main roster wise. She's been booked very strong, and this is also a trajectory for Tiffany, and Tiffany in a way where it's she's been undefeated for all 2025. So that's a story you can kind of play on SmackDown, and then
she could use that, honestly. This is a safe spot for her to kind of take an L and maybe have that be a story for her, Richie.
Man, honestly, it's I feel like this is what Tiffany was missing, because a lot of Tiffany's high-profile feuds have been with people that came from the PC, that were PC-grown talent, whether it's Becky, Charlotte, Trish was WWE System, Nia Jax. You never really had a talent that was outside of the company first, made a name out there, and have Tiffany face her. Because when you see Tiffany in her in-ring performance, she's one of the best that the NIL program ever signed. However, it just kind of seems like
she's very baseline with her skills.
Very it's what I picture a performance center. It's too crisp. It's too like it's too natural where it's just like, okay, this spot, then this spot, then this spot, and this spot. With Stephanie, it's a little bit more raw and a little bit more edge to it, where
Like
it's
she
like
can call it in the ring. Stephanie, with Tiffany, it needs to be point A, point B, point C, point D, point.
like you could like you can actually experiment with new stuff, and like we saw that with the Alabama Slam spot, which I thought was really well done. And it's like it gives Tiffany a goal to come up with, where it's like when you have a Stephanie and Tiffany feud down the line, you can call back to that match, and then you just kind of parlay that to a future story. But honestly, a bright call in my opinion. Stephanie needed more than Tiffany. And yeah, they're building up Steph, and Tiffany needed the loss in order to grow as a character, because as a babyface, they really haven't really given her anything to do. Like you had the story with Nia, then Jade. But other than that, you don't really have much in the way of development for her. So I'm interested to see what direction both these women go.
Yeah, Brandon, did you have any faith that Tiffany had a chance here? I think everyone I talked to kind of picked Valkyrie, especially being the shorter reign champion coming in here. And do you feel that they will play into this loss for Tiffany, kind of like Richie pivoted off to?
I hope they will. I mean, I hope they do better than AEW did with Mercedes. Let's just put it like that. I mean, she loses Tony Storm, and then she's just back to winning belts. It's like,
here's an extra belt. Make up for it.
What the fuck you lost for? Like, it's just, I hope this is the case. The problem with that is that SmackDown doesn't have the women to really push that she lost to Stephanie. She doesn't have that. Maybe Julia, and that's somebody that isn't also of the WWE trained model. She can have that type of rivalry with her. I don't know if you do it with Julia still being the U.S. Women's champion. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe Chelsea Green.
We introduced them a little bit in this feud.
Maybe it's Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green, who also isn't technically WWE real trained. She's actually more indie than WWE. I mean, maybe that's the person. Maybe that's the one that gets her where she needs to go. But yeah, SmackDown is not really the best place for her to kind of try to like get out of the moniker of like, well, you lost to Stephanie, but yeah, I could beat most of y'all. Like, it doesn't really matter that I lost to Stephanie. I don't really care. And that's where the problem kind of kicks in. I was talking about this on my show. I don't know where the hell you go with either one of these women, because the way it looks and sounds is that War Games is not even going to feature any one of them. So I don't know what you do really with one of them. And if you're still going to put Tiffany and maybe that's the play. Maybe Tiffany's so down on herself that she lost to Stephanie, Jade finally beats her and takes the belt from her. Maybe that's the play.
Maybe. Is Jade ready though? Right? Like
we're
here talking about Tiffany. Tiffany ain't ready. Is Jade ready? I don't know. I feel like
if Jade surrounds herself with a faction, I feel like that would probably help her a lot, because very similar to AEW, because they covered up her flaws with adding more people around her to make her appear more like a final conquest for the women's division. And that's what made the TBS championship special. And
do you feel like she clicks more as a heel, like, or heelish tendencies character-wise?
I think so, because I feel like when everybody is like the super woman, Superman kind of archetype, people want to see that darker side, to see that more character development. Not saying that you always need a heel turn to get more character development. Heel turn is just a quicker way to do it. And we've seen in AEW that she clicked more as a heel, and AEW's women division back then, they were still like kind of trying to find their footing. SmackDown's women division is just kind of like so behind the start line in a lot of things. And it's not, again, nobody's fault. It's just like you need to showcase like talent in the correct way and have fine uses for them. Like, I think like they're starting to like put the women in the right position to succeed. Like Zelina's with Alistair now. You have Kiana and Julia, even though that team is still kind of like finding its footing. I still think it could work, getting both, if both or either one of them over. And like, you have Meechin and BFAB, they're present. They're kind of like their like fill-in workhorse team with Meechin, and then the presence of BFAB kind of like raises her stock up a little bit. And then you have Charlotte and Alexa, and you just need a lot of people to not only have their own lane, but also combined enough interesting elements where we're seeing different combinations. Because Tiffany Stratton defended the title against Nia Jax. I don't know how time. They had their blow off match 2 or 3 times by this point. And it's just one of those things where, okay, I know it worked before, but you can't keep making it like, you can't be like, oh, this is the blow off. It's like we have like all these people. They said this is the first time Seth has pinned Cody since Cody's been back, and they've only had 4 matches. We've had that many Tiffany and Nia Jax matches within 2025. So we got to pump the brakes on that a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I just don't find it interesting. I think that they need to kind of pivot off of it and figure something else, because I don't think Tiffany Stratton is a wasted talent. I think that she has a lot of upside and she's going to have a great career in WWE. But I just feel like this deep into her run, now 10 months almost, I feel like it should be like gaining momentum, not like petering off. And then you, like you guys just spoke about,
it's really tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough because your first feud is like real feud as a champion is Charlotte Flair. You know what I mean? And like she's already top of the top, nowhere else to go but down.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, unfortunately.
And
then
also, I think Bianca also getting hurt too, because that could have been the actual feud that helped her tremendously. But
that's a great point too, Brandon. Yeah, you kind of forget about that.
And then it's like, it's not like they didn't give Tiffany wins. Like, you know, they gave her a bunch of wins. You know, you gave her Trish Stratus, you gave her all these different people. It reminds me a little bit like that Austin Theory U.S. title run where Austin Theory was defeating everybody, but just because he defeated everybody, no one still took him seriously as champion. So it's more than wins that matter within wrestling. It's how they win and where they come after the fact that matters, because you could be defeating John Cena at WrestleMania, but no one's going to remember when you lose the title to Rey Mysterio on Raw.
Yeah. I do feel that Tiffany does need to kind of evolve her character a little bit, right? I'm not sure how or what that is, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I do think that she needs to evolve it inevitably. So we'll see. All right. Match of the night is up here third. John Cena is going out on a bang, and that's John Cena defeating AJ Styles in a singles match, 27 minutes and 10 seconds. Listen, this was a parody of a match, and I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? They like no structure. They paid tribute to Samoa Joe. They paid tribute to Chris Jericho, Rusev, Christopher Daniels, The Miz, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, Frankie Kazarian, Shawn Michaels, and Sting. AJ Styles or John Cena replicated 8, 9, 10, however many of those guys met moves in there. And I believe this is similar to their 2017 where they never left the ring, right? It built off of bombs, finishing moves, skull-crushing finales, accolades, walls of Jericho, scorpions, sting locks or whatever. It built off all their big moves. It transitioned from their big moves. It was a bomb fest. If this was not how you structure a match for modern day WWE outside of the main event, outside of John Cena's go home tour. And I'm really not mad at it. It was immensely entertaining. They got me on a few of the kickouts, even though I knew what they were doing. I thought it was excellent. I liked it better than Logan Paul. I thought it was similar to the Cody match at SummerSlam. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I know that it was flawed structure and there's shortcuts and it's unconventional and it's cheating, to be honest. Like, it's not what you could or should be doing, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't. This John Cena thing is building momentum. This is his 5th to last appearance, hopefully match 2 as well, if we like to go to 2 Raws and see him wrestle Richie. And I don't know, dude. I'm just fucking into it. I loved it. And the 619 teases to you. Brandon, I'm going to throw to you first. Which of those big bombs did you enjoy the most? What's your overall thought on the match? And where are you at with John Cena? You know, I do want to dive into, at the end of this, mind you guys, a little bit of like his 2025, just a little bit, not too deep, but I just want to touch the baseline of it. But Brandon, what'd you think of tonight?
I love this match. I got actually emotional when I saw AJ Styles come out like in a TNA gear.
Yeah, that too.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I got a little bit emotional with that one. I was like, oh shit, wow. I love this match. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, you don't want to spam finish every goddamn match, but this was pretty goddamn awesome. Like this fit the right match. It was the right two people to do it. Finding out AJ also is retiring soon too, so this was the perfect way to do it. I think this was a great match for both of them. John Cena, I mean, I said this on my show. I mean, we consider what has this final run been great? It's starting to get to the point where it just depends on how you feel about it. I think that, I don't think the heel turn was needed. I don't think it was the heel turn was needed. I think that they could have done this so many different ways. But this goes back to The Rock trying to screw up everybody's booking. And they've been digging themselves out of that since he came and fucked up the booking. So I think that ever since then, not just the Cody match, but the Sami Zayn match on SmackDown.
That one too, yeah.
I mean, the Logan Paul match at Clash of Paris. Yeah, man, I think that just John Cena starting to just find it. I don't know what it is. I think Super Cena is definitely in the building every time he gets in the ring now. It's getting kind of interesting. But I love this match. And also AJ Styles. I know you say you're retiring, but goddamn, man, the dude can still go out there and fucking put on like bangers if he felt like it. Like this shit is crazy. Yeah,
you watch him, Richie. You watch him have like these uninspiring matches with Dom, and like these matches with like Dragon Lee. These tags that are they're fine, they're good on Raw, right? But then it's just like, man, this guy's 48, almost 50, and he can still fucking go if the time calls upon it. And I guess John Cena is probably easy to work, especially when you're not leaving the ring. Right, when your move is to go to the top, when your big high spot is to go to the top rope from the apron and do a 450, it doesn't matter if your knees land on his throat and kind of crush his larynx. That's fine, no harm, no foul. Like we're good. Like you're AJ Styles, you're 50. Yeah, you just did a 440. You didn't do a 450. You did a 440, right? It's good. It's work. Richie, overall favorite move, favorite transition, favorite tribute. I thought the Bray Wyatt one was kind of forgotten about, really. I thought that was cute that the crowd played along too. And the sea of yellow turned into a sea of fireflies too. I think 50% of these people were wearing that John Cena. Your boy got paid in merch tonight, whatever percentage he's got it. Right? So, Richie, what'd you think of this match?
I really enjoyed it because it felt like this was the real end of an era match to me, because the actual end of the era match, the era didn't end. Both guys competed after the fact and still had a match after that. So the era didn't end. So don't lie to me like that. It's like twice in a lifetime. Don't do that to me. I get the tagline thing, but don't do that to me. I like it was like a very like a love letter to professional wrestling. This really reminded me of the greatest match ever with Randy Orton and Edge, where it's just like, it's like we're under a lot of pressure with like the expectations. And with what worked with this match and for this match, ironically, was the lack of buildup, because then the expectations for it, even though the match expectations were high, the story is like, we don't know how the story is going. So it's like the structure of the match, it can be whatever it wants to be. It's like they literally just said, here's your canvas. Do what you want with it. And what I liked was the Easter egg of AJ Styles' gear, not just because it's the TNA gear, but it's the same gear where both guys were on the cover of PWI's like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, where they had their WWE versus TNA issue, and AJ was wearing the same exact gear when him and Cena were on the cover. So I just like that little callback, like very niche callback. And even Cena writing the introduction for AJ, that's probably my favorite thing, because it's like, when would you see Cena taking time out of his day to customize an intro for AJ Styles to show how much he meant to not only his career, but for professional wrestling overall. And I just keep going back to, this is like an end of an era match, because both these guys are leaving. We're losing Cena at the end of the year, AJ next year, Tanahashi next year. And those were the guys who were like the cornerstones of their respective companies at the same time. So it's really like a sobering reality. It's like it's a definition of a bittersweet match, where it's like, yes, they used every finisher under the sun, and usually like finisher spam matches don't really like, but it's kind of like when you're playing a video game and it's like, you want all the roster, like you only can play as one guy, but you want to put everybody's moves on you. So that's pretty much what it was. They called back not only to their rivals, but it's like the ultimate like WWE versus TNA match in a little nutshell. And you could even say the 450 knee drop was a tribute to Kurt Angle when he screwed up the 450 on Sting that one time. So it's just a lot of different callbacks. And if you were a fan of the Ruthless Aggression era and the TNA Spike TV era till now, you will tremendously appreciate this match. But I could see, like, if you didn't grow up with that era, you would see it's like, well, it's like all these finishers are happening for no reason. And it's like, yeah, it's like I can understand that point of view too. But for me, as somebody who grew up with these two guys and both these guys are coming to an end, I think it's like, personally, I will give them a pass because, again, it's like it's two guys who never had a bad match with each other. I think it's the only rivalry of John Cena's career where it's like he didn't have a bad match consistently. Like all these AJ Styles Cena matches are quality. I believe this is their longest one too, which is even crazier.
Really?
Is the Raw? I thought the Raw Rumble one.
Like it was either this one or the Rumble one because this one clocked in at around 27 minutes. Let me just
this was a long
check. Let me just check the stats real.
Why are you doing that? Your podcast.
Oh
Richie,
yeah, that's
you were
right.
a guest on the podcast, Ruthless. Now, Matt Farrell did this match preview, and he's in the comments right now. I had a blast watching it. More fun than I predicted.
Yeah,
and the commentary even called out it was like a video game where you would find yourself with all the finishers. Right?
Yeah, so Cena and AJ at the Rumble 2017 was 24 minutes.
Ooh, wow.
So this is their longest matchup too. So it's just like they're like, all right, you guys have 30 minutes, like do what you got to do. And again, there's a lot of valid criticisms towards it. It's like, oh, there's no story.
But
arguably,
it's the perfect time to do that. You're just looking. If people are saying that, they're just looking for gripes to go with.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with this, like the thing is with that kind of argument, it's like the story, like if you go to an indie show, like chances are you don't know the story. The story can be the match itself, and it was just all these guys playing the greatest hits of not only themselves but their rivals because this is the last time they're facing off, and also the representation of WWE, TNA, and what have you. And this is like honestly the perfect rivalry in terms of match quality in John Cena's career. So to go out kind of on a bang, and this is like what I said before, is like the true end of an era match.
Yeah, and to speak to the point of the story, when you're mapping this out and you look at John Cena's date, this is where you put this. International crowd loves AJ Styles. International crowd loves John Cena. That's easy. And then if you look at the dates, the gap, this don't need no TV story. You need the video packages and a go-ho promo from AJ Styles. We're good. Brandon, I'm going to ask you this question first, and Richie, I want your feedback too. Can AJ Styles build off this? I'm pretty sure he's wrestling at WrestleMania. I doubt he's going to retire at WrestleMania, but he's going to retire at some point in 2026. So he's about 6 to 12 months left of his career, right? So is there any way he could build this up to be a main eventer in those 12 to 6 months?
What they say his contract ends in like February. So,
yeah, but I think he also said he was going to wrestle at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think he said he's going to do WrestleMania. Main eventer, the top of the card is so crowded on Raw, so the only way you can do that is go to SmackDown. Yeah. I mean, the top of the card on Raw is kind of crowded right now.
Can he build momentum and just not have these lower card? Because they're not even mid. I guess they're. I'll be honest. These mid card matches where you're losing to fucking Dom Mysterio and you're having fake parody matches of Eddie Guerrero at SummerSlam. And I get it. Yeah, like that was fun or whatever.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the creative is when it comes to AJ Styles. I think that's the problem with creative right now is this they don't know how to really do this. And if AJ Styles is going to get a chance to do it how John Cena's been doing it, then maybe he does get that opportunity to get back at the top of the card. But again, it's just like, are you jumping him in front of Punk? Are you jumping him in front of Roman? Are you jumping in front of, maybe even LA Knight in a sense? It's just like, where are you putting him? And I think I would have preferred he just beat Dom and took the fucking belt. I just think that was just a waste of a rivalry for no fucking reason. That was just so stupid to have a rivalry and Dom still came out on top for no reason. Like it didn't make sense. I just didn't think that was a good idea. I thought it was stupid to do it, especially if AJ's not going to win the belt at the end. It just doesn't make fucking sense to do that. That just wasted most of his career right there. Like you just wasted this man's time right there. So I don't know if he gets back at the top, but I really don't know. maybe you move him to SmackDown and let's see what happens. Maybe he goes out to Sammy and takes the U.S. title from Sammy. I mean, he had a great run with the U.S. title, so maybe let's see how that looks.
Richie, is there anything with AJ that he can build off with here, or is this his last great performance? Because his last one before this was Cody last year. So can he build off this? When he's called upon, he can show that he can still do it, or where do you see him in the next 6 to 12 months?
So I definitely think future world title shots in his future, because we've seen a lot of like people have one-off world title shots and then back down the card they go. Saying with AJ, I think like he would be a good one-off opponent for Seth Rollins during the road to WrestleMania, whether it's a Rumble or a Chamber, just to give Seth someone to just get a win over. And it kind of fits into the story if they want to continue it with AJ saying management's holding me back or somebody doesn't want me to be here. And who's associated with Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman. And then if they want to do the story of Paul Heyman being that executive director of Raw, which really was not like it didn't hold any power whatsoever.
Any juice to that, really?
Yeah. But I just like it. It's like, again, stories there for AJ, like somebody's screwing me over, like Paul Heyman. And they even had like a backstage segment with AJ and Paul when Paul tried to offer AJ a spot in the Division too. So there's a lot of equity of AJ Styles on top of the card. The thing is with AJ, and AJ said it himself, he's there to build younger talent, which is why he had the feud with Dom, which is why he's teaming with Dragon Lee, which is why even though Penta's not a young talent, he's still a fresh new talent that they want to get over. And that's pretty much what AJ's been doing. Now, it's personally not the role I feel like a lot of people don't want to see him in, because, again, we have that rose-tinted glasses. Like, this is AJ Styles. He should be in the main event every single night, and he can be. But the thing is, the more and more you put him in the main event, the more we're going to see that he's less like the AJ Styles we remember him from 10, 15 years ago. And I think he's in a safe spot, and you could put him in these big spots periodically until he decides to retire, in order to have those big performances and then keep his body safe as a relatively featured person on WWE Raw. So I think I do see a world title shot in his future, the one last one. And they made reference like, oh, he's gonna 2026 is his final year. So you build off that where it's like, hey, this is my last year, my last shot at the world title, gets a number out of it, and it gives AJ and whoever he's facing a story where it's like, okay, the story is AJ's trying to go for the title one more time. This is possibly his last chance at the world title. And then you just kind of go on from there. And if the story is true that both these guys got a standing ovation for it, and you have the Undertaker tweeting about you, which is such like a really weird sentence to say, they're gonna reward AJ Styles with that, because it's like they're gonna point to this match as one of the highlights of John Cena's retirement run, where it's going to be like the heel turn, the SummerSlam match, and this match. That's pretty much what people's top three, I guess, is going to be.
All right, so you bring up the heel turn, right? And I don't think that if we had 10 months of finisher spamming and all of this, it would have necessarily worked. Mind you, where Cena was when January and February, character-wise, he hadn't won a match in forever. And now he's going to go win at WrestleMania. Something drastic had to happen. And the heel turn, I am a proponent of it. I really am. The idea, the execution is another thing, right? The execution is flat at times, mostly with some peaks. Cena brewing wrestling was a little too literal in a way, right? So I think that it at the end of the day, it just came across as lazy and let's figure it out. And by the time to figure it out, it was just.
I mean, you're kind of handcuffed too, because it's like not only that, it's like if John Cena's heel turn was a last minute decision, which I think a lot of people probably thought it was, with The Rock and stuff. You already have like the deal of just like announcing the retirement tour beforehand. You all have the deal about we're going to make a custom shirt for every single city.
And the plan was the plan with that. Everyone got one.
Yeah, everyone got one, and everyone's the baby face, that's usually for a baby face, and you're trying to market it a certain way. You get something that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, which is the worst possible thing to be when you have a generational thing like John Cena turning heel for the first time in 20 plus years. Yeah. And again, it's unfortunate. Like The Rock, he did what he did, but it's also up to creative to kind of like go in a place where, hey, it's like, we don't have Rock, we don't have Travis Scott. What do we do here? Now, I think a lot of John Cena stuff will be looked upon as maybe even potentially underrated because there is some good stuff within the heel
That's
turn.
what I was kind of getting to.
There are pockets of like a great turn that's necessary. However, it like without this heel turn, I don't think, like you said, Ryan, these matches would hit the same because it's like now
He
it's like
wasn't that dude then. He was losing to Solo. He was losing to Theory. He was losing to all these guys.
Mhm.
He hadn't won a singles match since 2018.
Yeah,
He was goofy. Like the mannerisms in the Rumble were silly.
yeah.
They
Then
were
we got the Chamber
bad.
too. You know,
Yeah.
the Chamber was also another one where it's like Cena. And you and I talked about this, Ryan. Like, see, he became a parody of himself.
Yeah.
And this run, like whatever switch he turned on at that SummerSlam match, really like put him into another gear where it's like it's like, okay, like I don't have much time left.
Yeah.
And honestly, that story of just like John Cena like as a heel turn and then seeing the light could have worked if they went fully in on it. Unfortunately, they decided to rely on and coast off the shock of it all, which I think works
And I
for
still
some.
wouldn't take that away. I really wouldn't.
No, yeah, the heel turn was done perfectly. It's like one of the best heel turns you'll ever see. It's
A
unfortunate.
turn that
Yeah,
night.
the turn.
And then
That
night.
night and that night in a bubble.
Yeah.
But after that, again, pockets of brilliance within the heel turn. Cena saying he failed in heel turn, which I think is, kind of rough, but that's his opinion on it. It's just kind of goes to show that it's like nobody really knew how to portray the John Cena heel turn when the majority of the crowd was back on his side anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be like, "Oh, fuck him," but then as soon as he'd be like, "John Cena, look at my T-shirt," they'd be like, "Fucking John Cena, 18 fucking appearances left."
When you
Fuck
tease
bro,
the
man.
when you tease the babyface turn at Backlash, and then you keep it going until SummerSlam,
Yeah.
that's when it's like, okay.
Well, the plan was Cody, so the plan was the plan, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, it's just like, it's like one. I don't buy the reason that it's like, oh, it's going to be Kevin Owens that was going to win the title in Elimination Chamber. I don't buy that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think that's creative liberties right there. But
yeah, more appearances to talk about Cody. I mean, talked about Cena.
Yeah.
I think the heel turn. I think the matches we got the matches. I think people that sit here and say they didn't like any of this heel turn, I'm like, you got what you wanted. You got heel Cena versus face Randy Orton. That's something that we never thought we would see, and we got it. You got CM Punk and John Cena, which was something we definitely didn't think we would see after a decade, and we got that. It was just all about the booking. I think the booking just sucked, and it just didn't help matters when the man that actually started the damn storyline took himself out of the damn storyline.
If you take
their hands are they were handcuffed because of it, really.
Yeah, it's like when The Rock starts a storyline saying about a soul, and then for weeks after, you don't even talk about The Rock. You don't even mention his man on the road to WrestleMania, like at all. Like that itself made it fucking weird. It was like, what? So is The Rock coming? Is The Rock doing the soul thing?
No, he's not. He's still not coming, Richie.
Really?
And that was the whole problem with the storyline. It just fucked up the heel turn so bad. Yes,
but
the
Ryan,
moment was great. But the storyline
Ryan,
sucks.
he did the 3-2-1. I'm still figuring out what 2 and 1 was.
I'm still trying to. Everybody's still trying to figure out what the fuck the 2 to 1.
It's and then his appearance in NXT too. That was a fun one.
It just everything about that whole time period, because it was actually a quick turn. Because you got to realize The Rock came in on New Orleans February 18th. The Elimination Chamber was literally the next Saturday. So it's like that shit was literally a week, and you like, okay, John Cena's turning heel.
It's even funnier when you realize that The Rock came there to announce WrestleMania in New Orleans, and now it's not there anymore.
Not there anymore.
So bad.
So it really just
made in sight either. It's going to
it made The Rock's appearance officially pointless because, again, he even said on the Pat McAfee show that he's taking he went to John and Cody saying he's like, all right, now I'm going to be out of the storyline, and it's like, what do you mean?
You created the storyline, and that's the problem.
You
He
know,
was
it's one.
fucking cool that one night though. He was the man though, walking
Yeah.
down with the fucking lightning. Travis
Yeah.
Scott was still like interesting, and
Yeah.
that shit was fire, bro. That was awesome.
Yeah,
But
it was again. It's just like again, there's like The Rock, you know, where it's like, oh, he started, but the like Triple H and WWE creative, they could have fixed it if they really
They could
wanted
have
to.
booked it better.
They could have fixed it if they really wanted to. But
I
the
think
thing, they were half in, half out, and
Yeah.
they were very content with just kind of coasting on the shock of it all. And again, if you take away like the WrestleMania of it all, you know, you take away Cody versus Cena, the heel turn isn't like bad. Like it's just more like uninspired, which is another thing where it's just like again, Cena was still, you know, like kind of like I don't want to say washed, but he still kind of felt like, you know, he doesn't work the heel style that it's been 20 years since he worked heel. So it's just like, you know, how do you do that? But anyway, it's like Cena's making up for lost time here.
Yeah.
And like again, if we don't have that heel turn, we don't have this match with AJ Styles in this structure.
Yeah, I said that it's only been really like 2 matches in this entire John Cena run that kind of sucked. The WrestleMania match and the Brock Lesnar match. Those are the only 2
the Brock match was designed to suck, honestly.
Yeah, it was designed to suck. But
what about the truth one?
Yeah, that was designed to suck.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I blocked that fucking match out. Which one?
Ron Cena.
The Saturday night.
That Ron Cena entrance was fire, though. That was dope. That shit was dope. But you know, obviously we're clamoring to talk about Cena. 4 appearances left. I'll be at 2 of them probably. So we'll see. We'll see where it lands. I know we keep kind of want to go down that road, but let's go and give. We're gonna run it a little late here, but man, I can't wait for that AJ Styles heel turn for that final stretch he gets there. Right, that's gonna be fire. That's gonna be sweet.
When he sells his stole to Papa Shango.
All right, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defeat the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane via pinfall in a tag match, 19 minutes, 55 seconds. You know, just to remind you guys again, this is when I was traveling to my school for the bus. I was only able to listen to it. Crowd sounded hot. The entrance for Rhea was fantastic. The crowd was clamoring for her, and I really liked that they gave the pinfall to Io Sky, Richie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cute, and I thought that was meaningful. And it was Rhea Ripley's birthday, and I was able to catch the post show, and they started chanting Io Sky, and Rhea had to stop and be like, oh, Io would really like that. So they definitely love each other backstage. They definitely love each other on camera. There's like this friendship and respect that they have, and that chemistry translated together as a tag team. From what I saw post, this looked pretty good. The reviews are pretty stellar on it too as well. Richie, where are you at in this match?
I really enjoyed this match. This story for Raw, I think, has been the strongest one that Raw's been putting on. Just because, one, it's very consistent. 2, it's bringing women that we wouldn't usually see on weekly TV, which would be Asuka and Kairi Sane, more development and more character. And it puts Io Sky in a central part of the story. And for Rhea, it puts her in what I think was a necessary position, because I think a lot of people envision Rhea as the central focus of the WWE women right now, or at least the most popular. And with that connotation, you get, you know, it's like, oh, she's going to be shoved down our throat. She's always going to be in the title picture. And that was starting to like be a discussion. But a story like this helps develop Rhea Ripley as a character. So she's not just mommy, you know, mommy's on top, you know, champion. Now you're actually getting development with her relationship with Io Sky. Not only do you have the story that Rhea's never been Io, but now you're seeing these people bond on TV and become more friends. And with that, it causes conflict with Io and Asuka and Kairi, and then they have their own little story going on with Asuka, and then even Kairi getting development because she's having, you know, like Stockholm syndrome with Asuka. And then, you know, it like she's very conflicted, like, you know, and then it's just a really great story and a great combination because, you know, Asuka has never beaten Rhea either. So it's almost mirroring the Rhea and Io stuff. So it's a really good story in that it ties a bunch of things together. And I love when story beats do that and story threads where it's like all these relationships are intertwined and everybody's relationship with each other is very different, which is what I enjoy when WWE puts on these stories where it's like even like minor stories, like, and this is probably considered a minor story to a lot of people because there's no championships, but because of that, it's like you want to see more of it. You want to see more of this on television. It's like, oh, I wonder how this person would interact with this person. And because of that development, you want to see them. It's like, oh, what would happen if they get the tag titles? Or what if they have to face each other for a world title again? What would happen now? It's stories like this that are considered filler that sometimes could be the most important.
Yeah, Brandon, do you feel that the ultimate story is building to an Io Rhea match where Rhea has a chance to kind of gain that pin on Io? Or or do you feel that there's much more legs within this, like Kabuki Warriors with Io Sky, Fracture with Rhea Ripley? I think that my first part is obviously the long game, and I don't think that's sudden, or nor should it be sudden. But I feel like there are still plenty of kind of juice in this. Damage Control Girls, Fraction, Kabuki Warriors, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. Where are you at with all that?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Rhea needs to ever beat Io. I don't think it makes actual sense.
So that's the carrot that she's always chasing.
Yeah, because I think that that's the one thing about Rhea. Like, she's dominant over everybody except Io. Why would you want to give Rhea the one thing that she can't do? I don't like. I get that that's the build-up, but it's just like there's a reason for why Io is beating Rhea. Like, she's her kryptonite. Let it be that way. Like, I don't understand why that needs to happen. That she needs to beat her. Like, I get people like, Rhea's gonna beat her here. She's gonna beat her here. It's like, why? Why do you want that so bad? Because once she does it, now it's just like, well, she can now beat Io. That means that she can beat everybody. What sense would that make?
So the vulnerability is kind of playing into
That's
Rhea
the beauty of it, right? Like,
yeah.
Rhea is dominant, right? So, but she can't beat this one fucking person.
Yeah,
So
half
how
her
dominant
size,
really
half
is
her,
she?
yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like with Austin and Rock, their feud was pretty much like Austin would always beat Rock,
Beat Rock.
majority of the time.
Yeah.
So it can work, especially with Io and Rhea. But then it's like you have these stories that you could concoct where it's like, is that on Rhea's mind a little bit too much? Like, is the streak kind of like in her own mind, like affecting her performances? And then it goes deeper in the story. So it's like, does she choose her friendship with Io or to get this win? And if she does get this win, look what she sacrificed potentially, this friendship. So it's like, there's a lot of deep stories that you can kind of like go on with it if they choose to do so. Again, I don't work there. It's not my company, not my issue.
Yeah.
But it's like they do set up a lot of these different pathways that help everybody out. Like even the finish, it put a lot of spotlight on Kairi because Kairi shoved Asuka out of the way, tagged herself in, and then pretty much took the bullet for Asuka, which is what they've been portraying on TV, where Kairi would do anything for Asuka. And I think that's a good thing to kind of like make her important. Like Ryan, like you mentioned, like Io getting the pin in Australia when Rhea could have like done that is some pretty cool subtle storytelling of Rhea letting Io get the win in her home country, which shows how close they are. Just little things like that really do make minor stories like this seem like very like larger than life.
And it also kind of it's interesting because yes, eventually at least 3 of these women are gonna go after Stephanie. So the question is, which one do you give it to first? And I think that's really what the conversation is. Me personally, I think it needs to be Asuka and Stephanie first. I think that'd be way intriguing. That'd be very fucking intriguing to see how that shit would play out. Like, it'd be just intriguing to see Asuka in a title match picture. But yeah, I think that the whole this was like one of my least favorite matches. This was my least favorite match because it's like it's just a standard WWE tag team match where it's like the person's from the home country. So you're just continuously building to the moment they get in and the roof explodes. And so that's kind of why I didn't like it so much. But even though I didn't like it so much, it still was a great fucking match. I just felt like it was just the typical WWE standard. This person's from this place. They're a baby face. They're going to blow off the roof when they get the hot tag. Let's just continuously play off of that. And it was just like, okay, like, can we just speed this shit up?
It's one of those because WWE likes to play the game work smarter, not harder. You
Yeah.
know, the crowd's already in the palm of your hands. All you need to do is like kind of breathe a little bit, and then it's like people will pop for you. Which is why Cena's babyface run has been tremendously successful in the later half of his retirement tour. He could do anything, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's Cena," you know. So it's like it's Rhea in Australia. It's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Rhea," you know. It's it's Theo. Like, you know, it's like once you're over, then it's like you barely need to do anything. Which is why Roman's matches, even though they're
Hogan,
basic,
Roman,
you know,
no
it's
doubt.
like again, that's why people are just like.
I'm about to say,
so
I'm pissed off you're Bronson Reed. You're at home and Roman's getting all these fucking cheers. Like, bitch, cheer for me. What are you doing? Like I'm home.
I think he's fine because it's just like oh, I'm actually getting heat against you know Roman. You know, it's like I'm actually getting heat. You know, that's how I'd spin it.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway from your guys' conversation there was Rhea Ripley is a larger than life superstars, and she's so dominant. She's mommy. She's bigger, stronger, faster, more powerful than all these girls. Just to have that vulnerability, you know, how does she play into it with her character work? Because I feel that when she is on top, Rhea Ripley is much more interesting and a better character than when she's kind of chasing something or she's vulnerable. Because I feel like she feels like she's forced and she's unorganic when she tries to have those emotions of vulnerability or weakness. That's where I always find a flaw in her.
What brings into another conversation, which is like if Rhea wins, let's say Royal Rumble, and she's challenging Stephanie, and she beats Stephanie at WrestleMania. Well, now she did something that Io couldn't do. She beat Stephanie. So now that's a story.
Yeah.
Like I can beat you, but you can't beat her.
Say that's a scenario, low key. Mommy might get turned on a little bit if Stephanie, the fans might skew that other way. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna
honestly, it gives
only fans money will be spent on that pay-per-view.
I feel like it's like this is a Marvel reference. It's gonna be very big, like it's like Iron Man, Spider-Man vibes.
Heard of them?
You know, where it's just kind of like you have the established like top dog in Iron Man, and then Spider-Man kind of comes along. It's like, oh, we always wanted to see Spider-Man team up with Iron Man, and then you get it, and then it's like, ooh, okay, this is gonna be pretty interesting to see, like how it plays out. But it's like with Rhea, she has like a bunch of stories like that you can still kind of kind of like flesh out upon. You know, you have the story with Io, you have the story with Bianca, you have the story with Stephanie. And with Rhea, like how she was built up during WrestleMania, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, she's kind of a crybaby right here." And then she would explain it like online.
Richie.
Yeah, and then she would explain it online, saying it's like, no, it's like I was close with all these women, and I thought they were my friends, but it's like it seems like they just want to turn. It's like they never explained that on television. It was like an online thing.
They never did.
And on television, if you just watch the show, it's just kind of like it's like, all right, why didn't you just put that on TV if it was so integral to the plot? You know what I mean?
Backstage interview where she kind of explained it, and then they just never talked about it again. Like,
yeah, you know, and it's just like it was just kind of a detriment to it. But so like the vulnerability, I think, has added a lot more longevity to the current Rhea character.
And also, Liv, when she comes back, it's going to be pretty interesting how they put her back into the storylines with them.
She's going to have to be a babyface. The people are going to explode when she comes back.
We shall see. We shall see.
What I do like about Rhea this year is she's having a lot more matches on TV. You know what I mean? And I think
she doesn't have the title.
Yeah, and that's going to go a long way. Yeah. So, all right, I'll definitely go back and watch this match. I'm curious how I'll like it. You know. All right, Seth Rollins, Raw World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Cody Rhodes, SmackDown undisputed WWE Champion via pinfall, 29 minutes and 40 seconds in a singles match to win the WWE Crown Jewel Championship. Now, I probably watched 20 minutes of this 20 out of this 29 minutes. I thought it was very good. I like the finish where Seth incorporated the watch into it. I think the coast to coast leg drop thing was pretty innovative and memorable. But it was your standard. These guys have great chemistry together. They're pros. They don't have to go out and do a lot. They can go at that slower pace while speeding up in a few spots, like Seth always does. Right? They're ring generals. They get this WWE style. They've been there, done this. This is probably the worst match out of the four that they have, but it was still excellent. It was still great. I would like to kind of watch it more hyper focused on my end instead of like on a bus with a bunch of music and kids and, you know, pregame antics. Right. So, and gasoline fuel and annoyance of a 2.5 hour ride up there and then knowing you're gonna have to play again. All right, anyways, I'm not gonna go down that road, but I felt that this match, not match of the night, but it was on caliber, closer to like the Cody, closer to like the John lore than the flower matches on here that were just pretty good, right? So this is definitely a great match, but just a little bit forgotten about at the end of the night. Does that make any sense to you, Brandon? How I say that?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I mean, I love this match. I love these two. So yeah, I love this match. Seth's one of my favorite wrestlers, and Cody is a beast. I think a lot of people give him shit because he beat Roman, and they just don't like the fact that he beat Roman. It's like, dude, just get over it. He beat Roman. Let it go. Like it's not the damn serious. Like let it die. It's okay. Roman's gonna get his at some point, but just let it go. I loved it. I thought this was a great goddamn match between these two. They don't miss. And we say that word a lot, they don't miss, but they don't miss, which is very rare. It needed to be. I love the fact that there was no interference, that is what made me love this match even more. It was no interference. There was no Brock Lesnar's, no Austin Theories, no Visions, no Becky Lynch. It was just them two in the ring, make it happen, and that shit worked. It fucking worked. It was after teasing everything, always having interferences and shit. It was just 1-on-1, which is rare in the main event of WWE nowadays. So to have just these two, the two best wrestlers in your company, go out there and just fucking wrestle, that's all the fuck you could have asked for.
Yeah, Richie, the watch, right? It's like a token of their friendship. He was his shield at WrestleMania 40, but the gift, there's part of me, I can't figure out which part of me or why, don't really like that. Like the watch was never presented on screen. It's like a behind the scene token of our friendship. It's like, hey, Richie, here's this watch, brother. You do all these pods with me. I appreciate it, right? And then you should come up on the pod, be like, man, I'm sick of your podcasts, and then rip the thing off. But I never presented the watch to you on the podcast, but you ripped it off on the podcast to kind of get to us to an angle. That's how I feel about it. Like it's like it was a token from a behind the scene friendship that doesn't translate on TV. That part of it, even though they were like they played into that, but it's a token of a vehicle to get to the finish in retrospect, right? Which is fine. There was no physical outside interference, but there was still heelish acts of the watch, right? And there was a token on Cody, again, kind of being his own worst enemy for his past goods that kind of keep coming up. And that's another through line that we should probably get into down the line too, as well, for something else. That's like his own niceness or his own gifts or whatever keep coming in the way of him in a way as well. So I do like that aspect of the way, but tonight, this watch, the focus of it, you get what I'm saying? Is it too cute is what I'm kind of saying. Do you think it's so or what?
I can definitely see that perspective. I can see like it kind of relates to me like how the bracelet for the Drew Punk feud was implemented a lot, where it's just kind of like, yes, it was the representation of what was near and dear to Punk's heart, AJ and Larry, it's like if you were watching TV week to week, it's like Larry, it's like, who's Larry, and with the watch, yeah, with the watch, I do like that aspect of it because if because I listen and watch everything, where it's like the story of like Seth never wore the watch because he couldn't like he's probably not a Rolex guy, but
definitely not.
Yeah. But what I really did enjoy about the watch was like what it represented, where it's like Seth Rollins' character right now is kind of like being the pseudo tribal chief, for better for worse, where it's like he's trying so hard to be this leader for WWE that it's going to blow up in his face. Happened with the Shield, happened with the Authority. It's going to probably happen with the Vision. And you saw during the match with Seth Rollins always tempted by the watch and using the watch, but we've seen him refuse using the watch. So there's like so Seth Rollins is a heel, but he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy who is tempted and blinded by what he perceives he wants the future to be in WWE and will do anything it takes to get there, but he still wants to do it the honorable way for better or for worse, until he found out it's like, look, I can't beat this guy. I have to take the easy way out. And even when the pinfall happened, you see him kind of look despondent a little bit, like he knew he had to use the watch to win. And then he kind of snapped out of it and he's like, oh, I'm the winner, this, that. But it's like, it's those important moments that I really do enjoy, where it's like Seth says, I have to beat him. Technically he did, but he had to do what, you know,
Yeah,
he had
he
to
doesn't
take the
know
easy way.
Cody. Yeah, they could play into this for round 5 that he knows that he needs to do shit to beat Cody, and Cody can bring that up, right? So, and there's another layer to when they want to get there too. I like the idea of it. I just didn't like the execution a little bit. Like I accept it. It's just part of me didn't really like how they presented it in the video, and obviously they brought
It's the Deborah of WrestleMania 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to make like a mountain out of a molehill of a thing, but I part of me just don't like it, you know.
First of all, we just compare Deborah to a fucking watch.
Well, it's like they were both plot devices. You know what I mean? They were both plot devices until they serve their purpose.
All right, real talk, real question here, guys. What's more expensive, Deborah's puppies or that watch?
The Crown Jewel title.
75 diamonds. But back to my question. How cheap was that watch where it broke, right? So, or how cheap was Deborah's? We're getting late in the show, guys. All right, anyways. All right. Well, that's the through line that you're not going to see anywhere else besides here, guys. But anyways, Richie, my question for you here is over under a year, we see round 5 between these two.
I think we go a little over.
Okay.
I think we'll go a little over a year. I mean, they busted out a top rope crossroads. I don't think we're ever going to see that move again until we get round 5.
Yeah.
I don't know
to make this feel special, right?
Yeah, like they were doing that. They were doing like they did the finisher kick. They did the finisher kickouts. You know, I didn't felt that they were too out of place. Probably the top rope crossroads was probably, but it's probably Cody wanting to give Seth something, you know, to hang his hat on. You know, you had the coast to coast headbutt, and it looked like Seth kind of jacked up his like shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, because I could hear
there was reports that he's a little banged up too, that they're going to address tomorrow night on Raw.
Yeah, like you could hear him communicate with the referee and Cody about something, but they still went for it anyway, which you know, kudos to those guys. And again, it's interesting because you don't really see, like, Seth was the protagonist of this story, and not by like the hero sense, but like this was his story that he was the focus on. He was the focus of this entire thing. Cody was just the obstacle to get Seth to that next level in the Vision story. And what works with Cody is that now it's like, one, Cody can take a loss. He it's fine. Like he beat Cena at SummerSlam for the WWE title. Like he's good for like years and years and years. Like he could take a loss on SmackDown if you really wanted to. But you have a bunch more people like a Drew McIntyre, like Jacob, like Randy, like all these different guys where it's like, oh, you could actually like fill up the WWE title scene again, because now when Cody and Cena had it earlier this year, it was like a revolving door of challengers. You know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, I'm going to wait my turn. Okay, you're done. I'm going to go next, you know? And like on Raw, when Jay was champion, when Seth is champion, it's like, you have 3 or 4 different guys coming at them at the same time saying, it's like, I want to be champion. I'm like, yeah, why aren't more people wanting to do that on SmackDown? That's why I feel like SmackDown's like a drag of a show, but that's neither here nor there. But this match right here, I agree with you, Ryan. It's probably the weakest of their matches, but again, that's not tonight. Yeah, that's not saying it's like look, you're like 4 1/4 or 4 1/2. It's like it's still 4 1/2. You know what I mean? So it's just like
4 1/2.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 38, I went 4. I thought Cody was a little rambunctious in that match.
He was a little shaky. I think Backlash is really underrated.
That's I was like 10 rows back. I thought that was excellent. I love the finish, and I thought that was great. In Hell in a Cell, I went 4 3/4.
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent. Closer to 5 than 4 1/2 too. I don't remember why I went 5. It was 3 years ago, right? So we're talking 4 1/4 at Backlash, and 4 3/4 at Hell in a Cell. Like we're cooking with gas, guys. Tonight was probably 4 1/4. We'll see, but excellent match. I just think it was, my sentiment from the start was, one, I didn't really like the watch aspect of it, even though I accept it, right? and I think they could play into it with the future and so not and whatnot. And then they were just hampered by the AJ and John absolutely fucking crushing it, right? So this was a little bit forgotten about at the end of the night, right? So that's all I was coming bum. Like I wasn't complaining about that we saw a great match and they delivered, right?
Yeah, this was a transitional match to get to the larger story, and as a transitional match, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah. All right, we got a few comments here. I don't know what Mr. Ortiz is talking about. WWE Peacock John Lennon Jr. We got Cody. WWE John Cena is WWE Peacock. And then time to go do I'm not. What's all this mean, John? Ortiz, what's all this mean? So I don't know. Thanks for the comments, buddy.
I think those were the lyrics of Basic Thugonomics.
Is that what it is?
No. No, I'm just being stupid.
Oh, maybe he's not canceling Peacock. I don't know. But
I mean,
actually, Richie, did you go back? Quick question. I don't want to go on a tangent here, but did you go watch Mustafa versus Ethan Page yet?
No, I haven't gone back to watch it yet.
Brandon, did you watch it yet? That's the one match from NXT that I wanted to catch. How was it?
It's on YouTube. You go watch it on YouTube. I mean, it's a fucking good match, man.
I mean,
I got YouTube Plus, bro. I'm good. I'm good.
You got all these TNA contracts coming due. You know, it's like
they mentioned who I saw there like a plethora of them at the end of the year.
So Hardys are up, Inspiration are up, the Rascals are up.
Wesley was up today.
Did he get released or was his contract just up?
Something. I'm sure it was a mix.
I think his contract was up. I think it's contract.
Well, maybe he said he was not going to. I think I assume it's like, hey, we're not going to renew you. I would love to have MSK on Raw or SmackDown. I think that would just roll.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like they had something with the heel turn, and then they kind of left him by the
way, right?
Yeah, again, which is unfortunate, but you know, it's like I think a lot of people thought it would be like his Shawn Michaels Rockers moment, you know, but it's like NXT at that time was kind of like, I don't want to say top heavy, but it's like
flux.
Yeah, I think they messed up, and they should have put him on the main roster right after Ricochet left. They should have just put him on the main roster.
I think he's just too short at the end of the day to be a singles.
Because I think it's like they already kind of got the new Wesley and Javon Evans. They kind of don't need you, and that's kind of where it fell into. It was kind of like they got the new Wesley and Javon Evans. The shit you do, he can do it. And
he's still having great matches. His match with Javon in the summer was phenomenal.
Yeah, I just feel like they turned him heel, and after they turned him heel, they didn't have shit to do.
It's hard when you get turned heel and you're a great bumper because then you become you become the Ziggler. You know what I mean? You become the guy who makes the other guy look good.
Yeah, and being undersized and being the heel that can bump. Right?
And with Javon, he has something that Wesley doesn't have, and that's height. You know, it's like he has the height and the look that WWE prefers when it's like, oh, you're about 6 foot, a little over 6 foot. All right, you can be like main event.
And I do feel that he could go on. That MSK could have like a machine gun type run.
Yeah.
Be Fraxium a little bit on the other brand, right? But then again, they have the guns and they have Fraxium.
I have my own theory on like what's going on, but you know, because we had all those WWE ID contracts coming.
What's your theory? Spit.
Well, I mean, TNA is like the pipeline for WWE, you know, and ID is just kind of like controlling that pipeline. Is like they pretty much released these WWE ID prospects where it's like, you know, you have Evolve, but it seems like they want to kind of filter WWE ID to these like companies that they feel comfortable with. Enter TNA, you know, with this partnership, you know, where it's like the MLW lawsuit came in where it's like they proved that WWE trying to be a monopoly. WWE, oh, we're not trying to do that. So you get TNA a show there, so you can feed all the WWE ID guys there. And for people that, you know, WWE doesn't want, where it's like we could just have them like get signed TNA contracts and we could use them essentially for free.
And we get the good looks of the guys of the Ethan Pages, the Joe Henry, the Jordan Graces, the guys we really want. We can figure that out, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know, so it's like a feeding system. It's like we don't want these guys, but TNA, you want these guys? All right, here's your opportunity to sign them. And then like you just kind of like it's a whole pipeline of just like old names coming into TNA, new names coming to WWE, and you just kind of like cycle through them.
Yeah, what do you think the Hardys do? They had a pretty decent match. You think they stick or?
I think.
Well, they do. They are holding WWE belts right now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're sticking. I think they get Hall of Fame this year.
Okay.
I think they get Hall of Fame, and then maybe they get like maybe they'll get like a match on the main roster. And
I hope they have a good match on the main roster.
I think they get it. I think WrestleMania 42, you bring them in, depending on what you do with the tag team titles. I don't know which tag team titles, but you bring them in for the tag team titles, give them one last run with them, and then see you.
Man, let's see what am I gonna get at TNA Bound for Glory tomorrow? Am I gonna get like this Hardy's Dudley's match? What am I getting myself into here?
I saw them in the ladder match, and they were pretty good, but they were competing against like 3 other teams.
Yeah,
Yvonne, I think had a heart attack a year ago. Yeah. my man might have like a pacemaker in. What are we doing?
Yeah, I will kind of I wouldn't say lower your standards from their 2000 Royal Rumble tables match.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're here. Richie, do you have any final words on Crown Jewel as we get out of here?
I thought it was a significant upgrade from WrestlePalooza. I think and it worked out because it wasn't much of a rushed show. There were still like builds that were rushed or non-existent, like the non-existent ones being the women's Crown Jewel one. They had a little build, but then you had the AJ Cena one, which didn't really need a build to begin with. And then the builds were for the other matches were fairly strong. Roman and Bronson, past history. You had the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea and Io, and then where they're having their story built up weeks upon weeks. And then you have the Seth and Cody story, where even though people don't care about the Crown Jewel Championship, you still have the story about the watch and the significance. And Seth finally getting his win over Cody helps forward his story arc. Cody losing forwards his story arc. So it all worked out. I thought it was a solid like B pay-per-view, if you want to call that. I know ESPN gave it a B. I can't wait for people to talk about that. And then kind of like go on from there.
Oh, it's coming.
So a B is an upgrade, right, Brandon? Is the B an upgrade?
Yeah. I think
you had 2 4-star matches, like
2
4-star plus matches. So I don't know. Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, I think WrestlePalooza would have been good if they actually had actual stories. Like every match felt like there was a gap somewhere. Like it was just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to be on the card, but why? Like, yeah, that makes sense to be on the card, but why? This felt like the star power was there and the stories were actually there. And I think that was the thing about this situation. And of course, we get, a John Cena, AJ Styles match that is phenomenal. No pun intended, but and I think that was this PLE. Like I said, if I said this on mine, it's top 3. I think of WWE they've done this whole friggin' year. It's top 3. I think because the shit you picking from a really, really bad, like a really bad bag. Like it's just like you really.
I wouldn't even say bad, just uninspired.
Yeah, it's just like
the thing is, it's like the work that people have done. It's like it's been fine, and sometimes fine. It's like you can't talk about fine. You could talk about bad, and you could talk about good. It's very hard to like talk about fine.
Yeah, it's been decent pay-per-views. Just feels like the execution has just been off.
It just kind of felt like super shows.
Yeah,
there's just always like a little hiccup or something's a little uninspired.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say, like the first 2 PLEs of this year, Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. I think people don't remember those PLEs as they should because those PLEs were fucking amazing. Like the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber were probably the 2 best,
and Evolution too.
Yeah, like those PLEs were put together perfectly. I don't know how you did it, but they did it. Like they did that. Royal Rumble was probably the best PLE they did. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, of course, Kevin Owens and Sammy at Elimination Chamber. That match is just still to me one of the best matches of the year.
And Randy Orton's return, which got overshadowed by John Cena's heel. I just love how Randy Orton's return just gets consistently overshadowed by like other people. And I love Randy too. That's and him and Cody had a sneaky good match at King and Queen of the Ring or the Night of Champions. So.
Yeah, for the King of the Ring, yeah. They've had some very just uninspired PLEs these last couple of months, but like I mean, everything again, just like WrestleMania just killed a lot of their PLEs. I don't know after that it just.
I mean, it doesn't help that the Vision story was just just like going like molasses speed. Of
Yeah,
just kind of like, all right, we've seen this before. We've seen this with Evolution. It was like a combo of the Evolution and Bloodline stuff, but like the bad parts, you know. And I was like, okay, let's rip the Band-Aid off here. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. You know,
Yeah,
then it's like, okay, oh, you're gonna cash in. Okay, good, you cashed in.
yeah,
You're gonna retain. Okay, you're gonna retain here. You know, it's like
yeah,
one of those.
I literally said that. It's like they took literally the damn faction was started in April.
Mhm.
It took them literally to like what September to give them a fucking faction name. It was like what the like come on, bro.
yeah,
Like,
They didn't have a clear vision of the name yet.
I feel like you got to clear the name first.
yeah, but it just
You got to monetize. Like the thing is like you got to monetize it first. You know what I mean? It's like got to monetize the name, and then you can make money off it.
Yeah. So we'll be back here in about 3 weeks for Saturday night's main event in where is it? Salt Lake City.
Utah.
yeah.
So it's rumored that it's going to be Rollins and Punk. Meltzer was on a heater with like a full War Games and a full set. So we'll see how much fruition that will become true. But we will not. We'll have 2 Cena appearances coming out of the Saturday night's main event. So we're not going to have anything, but perhaps we'll have, something Cena related coming out and heading into the Raw in Boston.
I feel like we're gonna
Boston and MSG. Yeah,
we're gonna do like the Miz 2009 run, but with Dom instead. With Dom just trying to call out Cena.
Yeah, we definitely got the fake 619 is definitely done.
Well, I think that was because the crowd was chanting 619.
Yeah,
and then like Cena called the audible, so he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna drop toe you and you just clothesline me and get to the next spot."
Yes. So we're gonna get Gunther in a tournament for the Saturday night's main event. I don't think he's gonna be in War Games match. I think he'll have a match, and then we have the 2 Raws. Who knows if he gets a match? I wouldn't mind like a Dominic Mysterio Raw match, but I don't know. I really don't know.
I think on MSG, like you might give like the Seth Rollins Cena match there.
That works.
yeah, that works.
Yeah, and then that ends in like a kerfuffle, and then just kind of go from there.
That's when Roman comes back.
Yeah, something. But Brandon's your new channel. I'll link it in the bio. Check it out. Richie Mars, Retold and Relive Richie Mars. Check out the TikTok. Check out the pod. Check out all his bullshit. Guys, these 2 are great guys. Been with me the last 90 minutes. Can't thank them enough. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you.